Jay Shetty is under a lot of scrutiny at the moment for basically living a lie and kind of being a bit of a living fraud, which completely goes against his work as a motivational speaker and a guru of sorts, offering opportunities for people to, join his classes for $7,400 a month, and, basically giving them entrepreneurial advice, similar to what we've seen with the Tate brothers when that whole thing kind of was going around. So, if you don't know who Jay Shetty is a British podcaster, author, and life coach. He's also the co-founder of Sama Tea. And in his career, basically, he met Guranga Das, a monk who was invited to speak at his school on selflessness and living a minimalist lifestyle. Shetty spoke with this guy after his talk and followed him for the remainder of the lecture circuit around the United Kingdom. And Shetty claims to have spent 4 summers in India interning at corporations and training with the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, known as Hare Krishna movement or Hare Krishnas. And basically, he then developed onto his podcast where he started talking to huge popularity people, which kind of blew him to popularity, and talking with multiple people, and then kind of expanded into lifestyle stuff, life coaching, and basically offering people an opportunity to live their best lives. So, in his background, he was trained by monks. He was trained in these very great conditions, and, he's got all of this background information. But recently, there has been a Guardian article that's come out about Jay Shetty that basically goes on to say that he's living a bit of a lie. Now, what's interesting about this article is at the very, very top, it says, this article is subject of a legal complaint made on behalf of Jay Shetty. So celebrities call him amazing and fans pay thousands, but what exactly do they get from this self-help guru with an iffy origin story? That's shaky. On August 20th, 2022, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck got married at Affleck's 87-acre countryside estate in Savannah, Georgia. The nuptials were on the closest thing to the US had to a royal wedding. 2 A-list actors reunited after years apart. It was kind of a storybook ending for J-Lo rom-com. The whole thing kind of goes on to talk about that. But at the wedding was a coronation for Shetty, who loved reading celebrity autobiographies growing up as a British Indian in North London. He was now accepted into Hollywood's innermost circles as a celebrity in his own right. On his podcast, among the top 10 most subscribed to in the US last year, has featured a litany of high-profile guests including Michelle Obama, Kim Kardashian, Matt Damon, as well as Kobe Bryant, who gave one of his last interviews before his tragic death. Shetty has written 2 bestsellers, Think Like a Monk in 2020 memoir and self-help guidebook, based on his time studying Hinduism and 2023's 8 Rule of Love, helping other people get better maneuver in their romantic relationships. So, the meditation setup worth a reported $2 billion has given Shetty the title of the Chief Inspiration Officer. Shetty has also has a life coaching business, the Jay Shetty Certification School, where students pay thousands of dollars to learn about Jay Shetty's discipline. He has 14 million followers on Instagram and 6 million across his 2 YouTube channels. So he's very, very successful in what he's done. Shetty has been widely accepted for and celebrated for these achievements. Okay, so, in June 2023, he attended the White House State Dinner for Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. 2 months later, he sat down with Joe Biden for an exclusive interview about the administration's mental health initiatives. So, he's very, very involved in Hollywood, very involved in politics, and he's rubbing shoulders with all the right people to get his name out there. In his origin story, which he tells in his book and in countless podcasts and talk show appearances, Shetty is a business student preparing himself for a life of corporate ladder climbing until the day he attends a guest talk by a monk. we've already kind of spoken about this. What gets shady is when there's this whole article down the bottom where basically his background gets brought into question. People start to ask the question of, well, do you actually live like this? Is it actually all true? Is it just a lie? Was it to try and big yourself up to make yourself look better? So a lot of people are asking a lot of different questions. So here's a video right here. Instead of me waffling on, let's have someone else waffle on.
About Jay, and I never thought I would ever talk about this publicly, but I did this because I think this will be for the benefit of people, vulnerable people, especially with mental health difficulties. Yes, I think there may be some level of help that this person is providing to others, but I'm not sure whether misinforming people about credentials and qualifications is the way to do it. So anyway, this was my part in the article. And here is the main reason why I said what I said, which actually didn't get into the article in the...
Let's go back and take a little look at what she did say, because the things that she does go on to say. So Shetty's former girlfriend Leela, a practicing psychotherapist for 13 years and head of the mental health services at a university in the UK, fears Shetty and his life coaching school provide inaccurate and potentially dangerous mental health guidance. Quote, "My issue as a mental health professional is that Shetty has misrepresented his persona, his knowledge and his credentials." So he's been called out by his ex-girlfriend. Woo!
And here is the main reason why I said what I said, which actually didn't get into the article in the editing phase, but here it is. Jay has actually, on his website, claimed that he did behavioral science as an undergraduate degree, but recently he has now changed that to management science. It was actually business and management science, and so for a long time it seems like on his website it showed that he was doing behavioral science. Up until this date, at least, I haven't been able to see what his life coaching credentials are.
So he's offering life coaching advice for thousands and thousands of dollars. On his YouTube channel, he's plastering it absolutely everywhere. He's published books, but he apparently doesn't have the credentials to be doing that. Anyway, moving forwards, there is another TikTok which really kind of brought into question a lot of, Shetty's credentials, and the caption is just deception or marketing. Let's take a little look at this.
Famous guru and motivational speaker Jay Shetty is a fraud, according to the latest Guardian report. The guru, who attended a White House state dinner for the Indian Prime Minister and took an exclusive interview with Joe Biden, appeared to lie about his backstory. The Guardian accuses Shetty of fabricating his monk origin story. In fact, Shetty's spiritual education took place mainly in Watford, UK, rather than in an ashram in India, as he often claimed.
Now, that's obviously pivotal, because that whole phase of his life and that education that he apparently got over in India is kind of what leads people into Shetty's life coaching. It's like, well, this guy has worked under these monks over in India and he's lived this lifestyle and he's learned as the way that they do. But apparently that might not necessarily be the case, and he was educated in Watford.
Nevertheless, he went even further and opened a life coaching school with a $7,400 fee.
Now, that's a huge amount of money to be paying to someone who now might not even have... Basically, it's like paying $7,400 for a TV, and then what turns up is, I don't know, a potato. Like, it literally is just like that.
Claiming that students would be eligible to progress to a top-up degree at 3 famous universities, but the universities denied any links after the Guardian contacted them.
Now that stinks. That's like proper baity if that's the case, because you've got to think these people are signing up to this because they are going to get higher education, which is going to get them better prospects, better jobs, all the rest of it. But if this is just completely wish-washed, like, these universities get applicants, for example, with like, I know, you know, what makes you qualified to come to this university? Well, I did a Shetty degree. That means nothing here. Those people are going to be like left with pie on their face and $7,400 short.
Shetty's ex-girlfriend and a seasoned psychotherapist even made a statement doubting the school's risky mental health advices.
He did behavioral science as an undergraduate degree, but recently he has now changed that to management science. It was actually business and management science, and so for a long time it seems like on his website it showed that he was doing behavioral science. Up until this date, at least, I haven't been able to see what his life coaching credentials are.
At the same time, Shetty started spreading his spiritual wisdom on social media. His podcast featured Michelle Obama, Matt Damon, Kim Kardashian, and other celebrities, while all his social media posts turned out to be sheer plagiarism.
Don't let someone be a priority when all you are to them is an option. Oh, God, I love it when I'm right. Another one. Some of us lose the people most important to us because we don't value their time. That is straight stealing.
That is... I mean, this is probably the lower end of the messy stuff that's going on with Jay Shetty, plagiarizing other people's terms, like, and trying to play them off as your own. But you know, it's not uncommon in the social media influencer scene. You know, people do this kind of thing all the time: is take other people's content and try and plagiarize it for themselves or play it off as their own. So you know, it's. I don't know, man. It's just fishy, innit?
Life and time are the best two teachers. Life teaches us to make good use of time, and time teaches us the value of life. Your entire career is a lie.
Despite that, Shetty continues posting content, emphasizing the importance of recognizing toxic influences. Preaching a rejection of materialism, all his spiritual activities earned him a fortune of $2 billion, and he purchased an $8.4 million home, raising more contradictions in his messages.
That's so true. It's just contradicted. You know, you've got this guru. You go to this guru for advice and he preaches that, you know, don't value materialism, you know, don't value this, don't value that, but I'm going to take your money, I'm going to get my $2 billion, and I'm going to go and buy myself an $8.4 million mansion. But don't value materialism. Don't do that. That's bad. Like, what the hell? Like... It's so contradicting, and it does beg the question of what was this ever for? Maybe it set out with the right intentions, and then when the money started rolling in and he saw how lucrative this thing was, he decided he was going to play it off as something else, but I don't know, it's crazy. But I've got one final video for you guys regarding this, and it comes from Dr. Pedram Shojai. So it basically talks about the exposure of Jay Shetty. Let's take a little look.
Of people reaching out to me in the last couple days over this Jay Shetty article saying, what do you think? What do you think? I've remained mostly quiet about this topic because, look, if someone's going to plagiarize and someone's going to steal other people's work, they're going to lay a trap for themselves. They're going to eventually get found out, which is what's happened with Jay Shetty. My personal experience is he was running around calling himself the urban monk. The problem with that is I wrote that book. It's in 30 languages. I had all the trademarks. I retain all the trademarks because I am the urban monk. My lawyers sent them letters and they, cease and desist. He stopped, right? And so I left it alone. But look, for 4 or 5 years, everyone in my industry has known that this guy has been plagiarizing. This guy has faked his way to the top. There's no proof that he was a real monk like some of us who are in the industry. And there's telltale signs, right? There's a lot of look at me, a lot of trying to gather fans, right? If you're out there trying to help people, you tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. Now, there's plenty of information out there about how Facebook, used him as their darling so that they can get advertisers and lure them into one of their new features and all sorts of algorithm hacks. But the moral of the story is this guy took words, actual words from other people, said he said them, and then built this enormous fan base, all based on lies, right?
This is the issue. If you build your foundations on sand, eventually it will crumble. And, it's exactly what's happened with Jay Shetty. He built his entire foundation on sand, not on a firm base. and he's built this empire on sand. And the sand's starting to shift, and his empire is starting to crumble. It's as simple as that. And, you know, couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
How do I feel about that? Look, he's not the first guy. He will not be the last. This is a person that is out there trying to disintermediate your relationship with the universe, with the divine, with that source of all wisdom that you and only you can tap into. Sitting there telling people all these feel-good quotes that he stole from other people, present company included, to make you feel good about yourself and share and become a social media phenomenon does not make someone legitimate. What makes someone legitimate is the background, the training, the pedigree, and also the stance. You will never see a true spiritual teacher stand between you and the learning saying it has to come through me, right? This guy has perfected the art. He's really good at playing the role. So the moral of the story is, listen, I don't hate on this guy. That's not very monkish, is it? He is an example of what we need to be careful of. There will always be false promises. The essence of evil is that it will disintermediate your relationship with the light. That's how the shadow works. The shadow works through agents like this, trying to distract you from what's really important, which is your personal growth. Don't fall for shortcuts. Don't fall for people saying the right things. Look at who they are, look at what they've done, look at how they're saying it, and become better at discerning truth from fiction. Become better at discerning whether someone is full of crap or whether someone is coming from a place of authenticity. I think his time has come. I think his day is over as a spiritual guru. We all know, everyone in my industry is known for years. Now the rest of the world is figuring out that, hey, this guy was a faker, but the next one will be here. The next one will be here. It'll keep coming your way if you remain gullible to this type of information. Be discerning, wake up to your inner self, and forgive this guy, right? He doesn't know what he's doing. It's like he was given Frodo's ring of power. He was tempted, he took it, he blew it. This guy was a management consultant. He was never a spiritual guy. He got really good at tricking people into the role he was playing. Be careful, be wary, forgive this guy, let's move on. You have work to do.
So, there you go. I mean, this is exactly it. People within the industry are now already aware of Jay Shetty's shenanigans. And now that all of this is coming out, he's got a very successful podcast, but with all of the controversy, no one's going to want to be involved with that. No one's going to want to go on his podcast if it's shrouded with controversy, because they then tarnish themselves with that controversial brush. They're not going to want to do that. They're going to want to stay well clear of this guy. So he's not going to get the lineup of celebrity podcast guests that he's typically had. People are going to wise up to the fact that they're not getting what they're paid for with the $7,400 fee to his coaching school. So they're not going to subscribe to that. And, you know, he's going to end up like, there's going to be people, no matter what, he's going to be able to continue to do this because there's going to be people where this is just going to fly right under their radar. They're not going to know that this is happening. And it's as unfortunate as that is, because, you know, they are getting tomfooled, they are having the wool pulled over their eyes. It just is what it is. You know, you can't get the message out to everyone, but the tact will probably change now with Jay Shetty. You know, this could be a load of nonsense, but at the same time, when you've got this many people coming forward regarding this situation, it's kind of hard to disrepute. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Do you think Jay Shetty's time is up, or do you think that he will be able to continue? While you're down there, be sure to jump scare the hell out of that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new and tickle my little bell so you get notified whenever we upload to this channel. And until next time, guys, I hope that you have enjoyed, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one, and I'll speak to you later. Peace.